Ladies and gentlemen, it's yours truly, DJ PM, aka Mr. Let Me Be Great, and you're here on another episode. All right, so boom, that's right. This is the Because I Got High edition. So every episode this season is about high times when something crazy or something funny or just something weird happened when you was high. Whether you had a paranormal experience or your friend just made you mad. But if you got a funny story to tell, all you got to do is at me, at TheeDJPM, or send me an email at theebgreatgroup@gmail.com, and we're going to have you right here on this show. Got it? Get it? Good. With that being said, I am here, joined by my damn self. Yeah, so this story takes us back to a young DJ PM. I might have not even been PM back then. You know, I be having crazy stories before I was PM. I probably was just Jay Gutter then. But anyway, so I was in Jackson, West Jackson, Capitol Street, of course. And me and my best friend Victoria decided to come to Atlanta. Now she wanted to come to go to a Young Money concert. This was like in the height of Young Money's era when like they were just like, nobody was messing with them. And so she wanted to come to Atlanta for a Young Money concert, and I just wanted to come to Atlanta. My brother lived here, whatever, so I just used to slide all the time. Anyway, so we get in this, I'll never forget it, we get in this little Prius. This is when electric cars first came out. We only had to fill it up once the entire trip. But anyway, so we get here. First day we go to the strip club. We went to Follies and seen this girl I knew dance or whatever, threw some money. And then Victoria whispered in my ear, "Hey man, do you see that?" And I was like, "Nah, see what? I'm partying." So I'm like, you know, going crazy. We having a good time. We turned up. So she come back to me and she's like, "Hey, do you see that?" And I'm like, "Nah, see what?" And she whispers in my ear, "You don't see that string hanging out her vagina? She on her period stripping." And I'm like, nah, is she really? I never even thought about that strippers have to strip even when their cycle is on. It's kind of a rough job. That has nothing to do with the story, but it's very true. That actually happened. All right, so back to the high story. So again, I'm not going to the concert. She is. So the night of the concert, she's like, "Hey, can you just drop me off so that you know, I don't have to park, woo. And I'm like, all right, bet. So I drop her off and I call my homeboy, who is Jamaican. And so I pull up on him and he's like, "Yeah, I'm about to go kick it with some of my other Jamaican partners. You can roll." So I'm like, bet, I ain't got nothing to do and I want to stay in the downtown area because it was at Phillips. So we go to his partner's house who has a loft type spot on a rooftop as well, with a rooftop. So we go on the roof. Now, mind you, again, I don't smoke like that. So they're like, "Oh, yeah, you know, we're going to light the spliff." That's what Jamaicans call it. And so I'm like, all right, bet. I mean, you know, when in Jamaica, do what Jamaicans do. So, you know what I'm saying? We smoking. We getting high. Matter of fact, we listening to Slim Pusher. Shout out to my dog, Slim Pusher. I put them on Slim Pusher because this is when the Bing Bang Bada mix-up dropped. I put them on him, and we smoking past, you know what I'm saying, high, whatever. So now, after about 20 minutes of this, I am high as hell. Because keep in mind, I don't smoke. So I'm high, I'm floating as usual. You know, I'm on a cloud, just feeling good, laughing, we having a good time, we vibing. My friend calls me and she's like, "Yo, the concert is over. Can you come pick me up?" So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm right up the street. I'll be there in a minute." You know, so I'm driving, you know, pull up to the spot and I'm like, "Hey, I'm outside." And she's like, "Okay, I'm walking out now." Now, mind you, a concert just let out. So it's cars everywhere, it's people everywhere. So it ain't like I could just pull up on the curb and stop. So I'm having to constantly drive back and forth, but I'm high. Keep that in mind. So she comes out and she calls me. She's like, "Hey, where you at?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm outside." And she's like, "Well, I'm outside." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what do you see?" And she's like, "Oh, I see the Phillips Arena sign or whatever sign, some kind of sign." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll pull up to that." So I pull up. Mind you, people blowing on their horns and everything because I can't stop like that because there's so much traffic. So I pull up and I call her and I'm like, "Hey, where you at?" And she's like, "Hey, I'm in front of such and such." And I'm like, nah, you can't be in front of such and such because I'm in front of such and such. And she's like, no, you can't be in front of such and such because I'm in front of such and such. So I'm like literally on my phone like, Victoria, where are you, bruh? Because I'm about to leave. People is blowing their horns at me. I'm high as hell. I can't really see nothing. Where are you? She's like, bruh, I'm right here at such and such. Where are you? And I'm like, there is no way you're there because I'm there. She's there. She says she's there. I'm there. We're just angry at each other. We literally almost stopped being friends because we couldn't find each other because I was getting so angry at her. Mind you, I'm high. So 2 seconds later, the bus moves and guess who's standing right there? Victoria. Dumbass. Walk from around the bus, motherfucker. How am I supposed to see you from behind the bus if I'm in the car in my street? I mean, if I'm in my car in the street, how am I supposed to see you behind the bus? I was so mad at her because she was high too. So I'm like, both of us can't be high at the same time looking for each other. And that was a crazy story from when I was high. That is a true story too. That's a fact. Me and Victoria almost fell out because of that. But I love Victoria now. Everything is cool, and this is why you shouldn't do drugs. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of AIGHT So Boom. It's yours truly, DJ PM. I'm out.